I have zero clue where we're headed. Like, we could start forming ideas and theories, but there's so much that got presented through the last episode that was just like, okay, we're really kicking into gear now. A lot of stuff's about to be happening, and it leaves me very excited, but very, I guess, concerned for how much I'm going to have to hurt my brain trying to think about where we are headed. So hopefully it's a fun journey. I feel like we're going to have pretty long discussions from here on out, so I have to keep giving myself ample amount of time to be able to do that as effectively, I guess, as I kind of want to. So hopefully all of this kind of comes together and we have just a fun ride all the way till the end here. Lots of questions to be answered. Lots of questions I don't expect to be answered for a while. Lots of things I still feel like we're still setting up for the time being. If you like it all, hit the like and subscribe. Do mean a lot to me. Feel free to stick around for the discussion. Leave any comments about this episode or this series. Let's get going with episode 16. Look at him being the housewife. Like, they all just wait there for her to come out. Yeah, I mean, that's just him. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Alright, buddy. Only when we're drunk, right? Yeah, good timing. That's why she's acting the way that she is, though, because she doesn't feel like she has the right to do so. This is like 4 episodes in a row we've had these tests. I gotta get a break from this fucking guy. Everybody's always bringing him up. Very good. Let's go! We surpassed her. First, like, I don't give a fuck. Is this how you cope with it? Yeah, right, does not care. Now you let that out, that she left. Let your anger show. Who? Also, his hands, I couldn't tell if that was him like clenching his fist, like, all right, we can do this, or all right, I did something good, or if it was the feeling that we get, because we showed that before with the syncing with the others during the test, right? Like a black hole? The fuck was that? Oh, just a shadow. Okay. Oh, I was gonna say. Oh, the world about to be flipped upside down. Shit's gonna get bad. First angel attack of many episodes. Love it. Right, just had to be. Wow, that's not the way to be acting right now, Asuka. That is not the way to be acting. Yeah, say it again in front of her. Yeah. Will she? Will she? In some aspects, maybe. She's got a lot of maturing to do in others. What the fuck? Oh, maybe it was like that. Oh shit. We're going to the underworld. It's absorbing him. Nobody knows. All connection with him gets lost. That's so fucked up. Ah, shit. Yeah, just jump away every time you see them. Damn, it's sucking everything in. The buildings too? What the fuck? Crawl up the sides. Yeah, beware, it's just gonna absorb everything. Damn.
独断専行作戦無視。まったく自業自得もいいとこね。昨日のテストでちょっといい結果が出たからってお手本を見せてやる。
We get this is how you cope with it from your end, but my god, you gotta stop. Oh, what a face. I love the shadowing with their eyes there.
人に褒められるためにエヴァに乗ってるの。違うわ。他人じゃない。自分で自分を褒めてあげたいからよ。やめなさいあなたたち。そうよ。確かに独断専行だわ。だから帰ってきたら叱ってあげなくちゃ。
Just like last time, right? But will there be another one?
やっぱり真っ白か。
What the fuck?
レーダーやソナーは帰ってこない。空間が広すぎるんだ。
本体なわけ？
そう。直径680メートル。厚さ約3ナノメートルのね。
How do you defeat a shadow?
ラックの海と呼ばれる虚数空間。多分別の宇宙に繋がってるんじゃないかしら。
あの球体は？
Oh, okay. We're
消えてしまう。上空の物体こそ影に過ぎないわ。初号機を取り込んだ黒い影が目標か。
そんなのどうしようもないじゃん。
So are they saying we fight the shadow on the ground and it damages the actual body, which is the main one, but you can't actually harm it unless you attack the target, which will be the shadow itself? Or am I misunderstanding right now? It'd be crazy if just some random voice comes in and starts speaking to him. Like someone from the other side. Holy shit, that would be wild.
強制サルベージ？現在可能と思われる唯一の方法よ。992個。現存するすべての N2 爆弾の中心。
Holy fuck. That's probably not a good idea though.
その瞬間に爆発エネルギーを集中させて使徒を形成するディラックのお見事破壊する。
でもそれじゃあエヴァーの機体がシンジ君がどうなるか救出作戦とは言えないわ。
作戦は初号機の機体回収を最優先とします。たとえボディが大破しても構わないわ。
ちょっと待って。
この際パイロットの生死は問いません。
Yeah. Some people are here for their jobs, others are letting their personal lives be mixed with it.
それ忘れないで。
怒り指令やあなたがそこまで初号機にこだわる理由は
That's what I've wanted to know. Why does that have top priority?
あなたに渡した資料がすべてよ。
嘘ね。
Yeah, she's lying. Absolutely.
インパクト、保管計画、アダム。まだ私の知らない秘密がある。
So all these things I'm assuming she learned through Kaji last time? What the fuck? Bro blew him up like an air balloon.
誰？
Oh, what is happening?
それは僕だ。僕は君だよ。人は自分の中にもう一人の自分を持っている。
Okay.
自分というのは常に二人でできているものさ。
Sure.
二人？ 実際に見られる自分とそれを見つめている自分だよ。碇シンジという人物だって何人もいるんだ。
Okay,
君の
gotcha.
中にいるもう一人の碇シンジ、桂木美里の心の中
Right, the one that everybody else sees you as versus how you see yourself. And they all see you as a different thing.
の碇シンジだけど、
Mhm.
本物の碇シンジさ。君はその他人の中の碇シンジが怖いんだ。他人に嫌われるのが怖いんだよ。自分が傷つくのが怖いんだよ。悪いのは誰だ？悪いのは父さんだ。僕を捨てた父さんだ。悪いのは自分だ。
そうやってすぐに自分が悪いと思い込む、それが内罰的だって言うのよ。
シンジ。
父さんが僕の名前を呼んだんだ。あの父さんに
What a
褒められたんだ。
brilliant thing, right?
その喜びを反芻してこれから生きていくんだ。
Ooh, ugh.
信じたらこれからも生きていけるさ。自分を騙し続けて。
Yep.
そうだよ。誰だってそうやって生きてるんだ。自分はこれでいいんだ。
That's not necessarily wrong.
生きていけないよ。僕が生きていくにはこの世界には辛いことが多すぎるんだ。例えば泳げないこと。人は浮くようにはできてないんだよ。自己欺瞞だね。呼び方なんか関係ないさ。嫌なことには目をつぶり、耳を塞いできたんじゃないか。聞きたくない。ほら、また逃げてる。
Mm.
楽しいことだけを数珠のように紡いで生きていられるはずがないんだよ。特に僕はね。楽しいこと見つけたんだ。楽しいこと見つけて、そればっかりやってて、何が悪いんだよ。
Okay. Ugh. What is this track?
僕はいらない子供なの。
自分から逃げ出したくせに。
そうだ、この男は自分の妻を殺した疑いがある。自分の妻を殺したんだ。
違う。
What?
母さんは笑ってた。
あなたは人に
Oh, we're going back to that image after this.
シンジ、逃げてはいかん。
疲れた。何もかも。
Tired of it all. The music build it up. Oh, fuck. Huh?
お母さん。
もういいの？そう、よかったわね。
He's gonna break free himself, right? Brothers.
号機のエネルギーはゼロなのよ。
Yeah, but about that. There's something else, you know? What a visual. Wow. Oh, that's so fucking sick.
私、こんなのに乗ってるの？
なんてものを、なんてものをコピーしたの。私たちは。
エヴァンがただの第一使徒のコピーなんかじゃないのはわかる。でも、ネルフは使徒を全て倒した後、エヴァをどうするつもりなの？
Once you've overcome your enemy, what is your new one, right? What do you do with that thing that was powerful enough to do so? Sick visual. Not conscious through it all again, right?
叱るんじゃなかったの？
Shut the fuck up.
私は恐怖で、本当にエヴァの味方なのでしょうか。私たちは憎まれているのかもしれません。桂木さん、何か感づいているかもしれません。
そうか。今はいい。
レイやシンジ君がエヴァの秘密を知ったら許してもらえないでしょうね。
Including Ray in that dialogue is really interesting to me. Oh, you're not alone here for once.
今日は寝ていて。あとは私たちで処理するわ。
でももう大丈夫だよ。
そう、よかったわね。
I love the color of her hair in this lighting. Ugh.
いや、血の匂い。
私のこと好き。ねえ、キスしようか。私と一緒に。
Where's my fly me to the moon? Alright, I don't know. I don't even know anymore. Oh, what a... Wow. So, fuck, dude. Awesome episode, I think should be the first thing that I say. So much was so excellent about it, and we'll point a lot of it out as I go back through the episode and talk about certain scenes. But so many of the different shots, the use of a lot of the different shadows that they did, a lot of the shots that I really love where you make the characters either entirely black or you bring them to life, but you have like this really awesome set piece kind of in the background at a bunch of different moments. The sick moment of us breaking through the angel, right, and then being able to have all the blood just going all over the place, and then the Ava or Unit 1 being covered just completely in blood by the end of it too. Like there's so many just sick moments that we get to see. I don't know what he was doing. He was doing something and then like it lit up all around the angel and it was like flashing the colors, like the same thing that we kind of see when they're on the inside and we see like these different areas it seems like that they're kind of going into. Pretty sick moment. I mean, his mom coming out of the thing, like the spirit of it almost coming out and reaching out to him and sending him like into this void state. It's like so many sick moments that in visual representations for them as well that I think are so excellent. And like I said, we'll talk about those when they come up, but direction was absolutely on point, like up another level. Like they really wanted to send the message. It almost felt like this episode, which I think is awesome. Also something to be worth noting, I don't know if it's just my version or if it's like everything, but I know the version that I'm using and watching this from, I read somewhere in the comments, or I read something about it, that there was something off or quality wise, like that was wrong with episode 16 specifically. I believe it was this episode that they were talking about. I didn't really notice too much or anything at all, really. And it all seemed fine to me. But if it was a little off or something, I guess I'm sorry. I don't know if it's just me or if it's for all the versions or something. As we started to do last episode, I'm just going to completely go through the episode again and talk about things as they happen. I think it'll be a bit easier for me to organize thoughts and get out a lot of the stuff that I would like to say without really feeling like I'm forgetting things and then feeling like I talk about certain things but to go in detail as much as I need to because I'm missing them until we get to them later and stuff. So we're just going to go through the episode here and hopefully we can, you know, get everything out that I feel like is necessary here. The intro sequence is just funny to me. The idea that Shinji's like a housewife in this moment, him and Misato just kind of living their best and the good life here. I also like the moment that Asuka just starts screaming here. They both just stand there and wait, like they know she's gonna come out and say or do something, and they just kind of wait on it. And also like how each of their eyes end up changing when they look at her. They're like, all right, buddy. Telling her not to project her happiness on others. Well, Kaji ends up calling through. I think is great too. Also saying that she's acting like a proper guardian or why she's trying to do so now. Relevant to the last episode of her understanding, you know, of her being like, I'm kind of a hypocrite. I'm not somebody who should be doing any of this. I have no right to kind of tell him or put himself in that position. Now Asuka on the other side being like, you shouldn't be doing any of this either, right? Why are you acting like this? It really, I mean, kind of probably hits home, I would assume, with her here. Testing goes over well. Shinji does great on his test scores, and we're seeing he's really starting to enjoy himself. Things are starting to go good for him. His life is starting to get good. His test scores are getting great. He's enjoying himself. He found a purpose for what he wants to do here. He's getting the praise and everything from his father. He's finding reasons to make himself happy and suppress all the negatives and things, which of course resurfaces later. But it's a good start for him. I mean, we get to see a big old smile on him. That never happens, right? We never get to see this. So it's really nice that we get that. Asuka pissed in this moment. I think this is fun. I actually don't mind this at all. Like, sure, she's annoying, and I can definitely see people be like, I absolutely hate her as a character, and I feel like I say that over and over again. But the realism almost of who she is as a person and the way that she kind of acts in these moments feels realistic. I mean, she's 14, right? Like, of course, in the situation, if you're constantly being praised by other people, or if you're doing everything for the praise of others, and just to have that kind of ripped away and taken from you, you're going to be a little bit envious towards that person, and your hatred for them, and like the situations are going to kind of play up a lot, which isn't a great thing, because I mean, she ends up baiting Shinji basically later into being the type of person that we know he is. So taking that bait and actually diving himself into the situation, taking the lead on this, when maybe he probably shouldn't be the one who does, and while we see it ends up working out for him at the end, something that she would typically do, though he ends up getting forced into that, and then she has to firsthand see, the way that she spoke on the entire situation leads to the results of this person almost dying around her, and how that pisses everybody else off around her as well, right? So yeah, the way that she kind of acts out in this moment. I also love Ray just not giving a fuck and just leaving. Like, no response or anything. And then we get to see her drop that mask a little bit too, right? Her playing it up like, I don't care. He thinks that he's so cool. He does all this, right? And then just completely breaking down at the end and just hitting the locker, being in pain over it. The hand here, I'm still not getting. I was trying to form something at the beginning. I don't think I got it. It feels like that reference that we're seeing when we constantly sync ourselves to the Avas, when we keep doing these different tests and everything that we have, in that feeling and theory that I'm almost having of we're trying to do something to allow all functions of ourselves to be fully in sync with the Avas, and he's kind of feeling like the effect almost of like what it is that he feels when he does this while he's synced up, while he's looking down on it, but he keeps looking at his hand. I don't know, like, if this was just like all right, I gotta build up the courage, I gotta work up the coverage, like, okay, it's good, we're in a good spot, I'm like comfortable like with this, or like I have to like believe in myself, and it's like a way of pumping yourself up. It might just be something as simple as that too, or there could be plenty more that I'm overlooking. The design of this is so fucking good. Just realized I wasn't even full screen for you guys, sorry. The design of this is so good though. Absolutely love it. Using the dark and the light we get to see later when he sinks underneath, and seeing the light within it as well too, or all the white in the white space that he was kind of around, is really cool. Just the spheres of design as well, and the idea that this is like a shadow. Of course, nobody knows what the fuck's going on and what they have to go after in this situation. Gendo nowhere to be found. Shocker, right? Absolute shocker. He's not around here. We clearly know he's up to something. I mean, we clearly know he's well aware of the attacks and the things that are likely coming as well, and he's choosing to take distance. It's almost like he's the one who's initiating a lot of these things that happen too, finding himself in the right place at the right time, never being present when a lot of these things happen. It leaves you very suspicious of him, right? Like, what exactly is he kind of after here? It almost feels like he possibly could be setting a lot of the stuff up on his own. I don't know how, but could be the one, responsible for a lot of these things. And then his creations and everything of the Avas that he's working with is strictly so that he can understand that he can take them out, and he's building these things up, and these are like battle testing almost of like what he's trying to do, which is a little frightening to think like what his end goal would fucking be here. I love us just kind of going back and forth with Asuka here, and talking to Masato about like, oh, you said that I'm number one and all this, right? And just making her making her a little bit more angry and jealous here. We have to force Shinji into action here, of course, because Asuka fucking losing her shit still at this point. Shinji gets completely sucked in, though. This is where the shadow comes in. Nobody has any clue how to handle this. I think that's such a cool idea, too. Having, like, essentially the main body up top, the thing that's floating above us, but no matter what we do when we hit it, it won't do anything in the shadows, the thing that's kind of lurking in, and we have to actually attack this thing to harm the other thing, which is awesome. I love like just the different moments of us climbing up the buildings, trying to get away, but at the same time, all these things are sinking and being sucked into this void as well, and us trying to struggle so much to get away. Masato losing her shit completely, thinking that, we just lost Shinzi's life in the process too. Uncertain what exactly it is that we need to do, and trying to form plans as a result. This whole sequence I think is awesome. Just everything about it. The visuals of the shadowing to the faces here, with having the eyes completely pop with the color versus the stern look that we have on Ray's face, her questioning of what it is that Asuka's doing, why she's doing the things that she does, right? Like, why are you piling it? Is it just for the praise of others? The thing I've talked about that, at length already, about her as the person, and her kind of countering that and being like, that's not the case at all. I do it because I want to be able to praise myself. It's like a workaround of basically what Ray said. It's like the justification of it. It's not necessarily wrong. She is able to praise herself due to the fact that she gets praised by others, and they look at her and think of her as somebody who's like very special, and she's kind of needed, and they depend on her in these moments. But at the same time, she's able, like I said, she's able to praise herself as a result. But at the same time, I think it's just what Ray's really saying, and then this is what she's almost convincing herself, which is very similar, I'd assume, to the perception, the way that other people kind of see you. Each person individually has different ways that they kind of view you, and versus how you view yourself, and that version of you that's within you, that Shinji has to go through in his conversation later. It's like a similar thing to that, where they all kind of see through her, but she has to kind of convince herself that that's not exactly how, that they should see her and who she actually is, and trying to tell herself it's other things, even though she probably sees through herself and fully understands why she's doing it and trying to justify that. These are some of the visuals I was talking about too, just when we just flash through all the different coloring here around him too, till we just get to this void state that he's in. Got a couple hours remaining. Ritsuko at this point wants absolutely nothing to do with Shinji. We have to save Unit 1. That's the most important thing. It doesn't matter if we get him out there alive, as long as we save this. We're not on like that same sort of time crunch as everybody else, and Masato loses her shit, right? It's why are we not valuing the life of the person? Why is the object itself so much more important? And she won't tell her anything, but being like, I've told you everything that you already need to know. But it's like, absolutely you haven't, because she well aware, from what Kaji actually is told her now, up to this point, we'd assume that she knows so much more. She knows about all the different projects and the things that Gendo's working on, who's involved in each of them, who knows each thing, and who's hiding what from her. While she maybe not know all the specifics in it, has a general idea of that. So she doesn't have to be able, or it struggles, I'd assume, take anything that we end up hearing from Ritsuko here to be true. Like it's a little bit difficult. Once again, another beautiful set piece for us to have here, which I really, really like. Unit 1 is priority itself. Why? That makes no sense. Why the hell would that be the case? The pilot life not being a concern? Rightfully so fucking hits her at that point. I completely understand that. What the hell is an Ava? That's the question we've been wondering for how many episodes now? How fucking long here? Of course, she starts questioning what exactly everyone else knows. This is just awesome representation. I don't know like what the white here is and the disconnects. It almost feels like bones, like they're showing like going down like the makeup of a person, like just completely like who they are and tearing them down to literally nothing. But at the same time, it could be way more, and I'm just stupid. I don't know. Shinji has almost like his own situation that we found like Rei in, where she was questioning like everything and relating so many things to other things. But his is a little different, where he reflects on everybody else in the past and so many different situations and stuff that he had, realizing that there's plenty of versions of him, the way that he perceives himself, the way that other people see him, how each individual sees him in a different way or takes and sees things differently. It's so cool. The version within him calling himself out, telling him that he turns a blind eye and a deaf ear here to all these things that he doesn't like to hear. He tries to act like none of that's actually there and, just go on and carry on his life. I mean, things we saw very early on, right? Shutting himself in, putting the pillows over his ears, putting the earbuds in and trying to block out the noise and the things in the background so he doesn't actually have to think or be lost in his thoughts. He can use these things as distractions almost, that we never actually have to think, which is not the safest place for you to actually find yourself in, but it makes plenty of sense why he would do that, to escape from those horrors, right? And those things that he doesn't want to have to go through, and that trauma, and it allows him to kind of be freed a little bit more without, with sidelighting all that and suppressing all those negative things when he's actually not facing it. So once again, calling him out for, you're running away. I mean, yeah, you're running away from all your problems and things like that. But Shinji's counter to it too is just like, what's so wrong with that, right? Who cares if you're trying to enjoy, as we say here, you can't live your life just by enjoying by the enjoyable moments. Like one day all that's going to resurface. One day you're going to have to face those things. So you're either prolonging the thing that you're running away from or not. But especially for somebody like Shinji and what he ends up countering and yelling about, it's just like, what's so wrong with that? What's wrong with wanting to live that normal life and wanting to be freed of all these things? What's wrong with thinking of things positively and finding something that you actually enjoy, whether you're being told, that it's not a right thing, and you're just kind of lying to yourself here about like saying this is actually what you really want, with your dad praising you and everything, and why you're working so hard and doing all this. It's like, what's wrong with finding that thing? And even if it isn't actually what it is, just faking it until you make it at the end of the day, right? Faking what actually is providing you this satisfaction that you're getting, and that feeling that everything's going to be okay until you actually end up finding that thing that is, until you get it past that thing. What's so wrong with that? I mean, the idea that you can convince yourself too much that that is what you want, and then you seek it out and you actually get that, and then it's never enough for you, and it's like a never-ending cycle. Sure, you can say that's like a complete negative to it, and that you waste your life away doing this something that you truly probably don't want to do at your core. But what's so wrong with finding that? Better than living your life absolutely having nothing to you, right? Like you'd assume so. Completely just being yelled at by his other version. And then we see all this flashing, right? Talking about his dad being guilty. He must have killed his own wife. We see a whole bunch of different things and people talking about evolution laboratory incident and stuff. And then we see, where's the one shot? Them two when they're younger, slightly blurred out halfway, similar to no photos and things kind of being relevant or being there of her anymore. So you remember this like blurred image, almost this half image. You can't see the entire thing. We see short hair, different coloring and everything. So different than Ray, not necessarily the same, because I know I've had my predictions and my thoughts and theories and stuff last time. But a lot of that stuff still gets justified, I feel, a little bit more as we kind of go on and we add a little bit more info to that. But nice that we can put a little bit of a design kind of to it. We see a whole bunch more and him thinking about that. Life about to be ending. Things are about to be over. He completely gives up. I love that we hold the shot for as long as we do until the hand reaches out and we get to see what is likely his mom in this moment, fully reaching out to him almost as if the protector of him. So this is where a lot of relevant things and things come back from previous episodes, I'd assume too. The first episode and second episode, I guess, if you want to kind of put them two into each other, we see Shinji completely losing himself, right? Getting his ass kicked while he's in the save and not wanting to pilot it or anything, of course. And we get to see this thing kind of go berserk. And in that moment, we're like, what happened? It almost has a life of its own. It's actually acting out and functioning entirely on its own. What's that about? And once again, we see a similar situation here where he's able to actually break free of all of this too. Well, it seems like he's in this complete unconscious state and this thing takes over and saves his life at the end of the day, fully maximizing its capabilities for what it's able to. But we also get a really cool image here and visual that I'm thinking latches on a lot to what I was thinking last week, where the actual thing, the being that is these Evas, could possibly, you know, have these souls or whatever placed within them. Makeup of that other person, possibly of the mother, which was my initial concern and everything last time, that we basically can figure out some sort of way to take like personalities or take souls or take like something of this person in the makeup of that person and remove that from themselves and put them within these Evas here, which allows us to have his mom in the situation, somebody who we have no info on, like, right, no pictures, none of this stuff. There's no real memory of her. She just ended up dying at this point. He can't remember her at all. Nobody else seems to either, except for the commander himself. And he has to constantly go to this place to remind himself of those things as well. But we see that like removing yourself from this thing that you're in and reaching out and actually grabbing him, which would indicate that, I think, very, very likely. And of course, at this moment when he goes completely unconscious, it's able to take over and do this. And then another supporting thing I would assume for that would be, we see, you know, in the first and second episode, we have the attack that ends up happening. He loses it. The berserk mode kind of occurs. And at this point, we have somebody else like protecting him, you know, because he's going to die in this moment. Somebody else taking care of the angel and everything to protect this person and protect her alive. While we also have early in it too, when something ends up falling and the Eva ends up coming and protecting Shinji, where he ended up doing a motion with his body. And I thought that it was like taking after him and it was just kind of copying and doing exactly what he did while he tried to protect himself. But would it be really too far fetched of an idea to think that his mom could possibly be the makeup of it and the personality and everything placed within it is her, and she sees her child here about to get harmed by this thing, so she does exactly what she has to kind of protect him in that moment. And we have three different scenarios that I think that we can point to that all almost indicate that, when his back's bent against the wall and his life's completely at danger here, and it's not something that he can actually go out of his way and do. This person comes out, this version of this thing comes out and actually protects him. I don't think it's too far gone of an idea to really think about here. He completely breaks out. Such fucking cool visuals to it too. The way that the blood looks, just the texture on it, like almost you can feel it, and it's so good, so excessive too. the different uses too, where we go dark red over here, and then we have like a bright vibrant one, and then we mix it with like another darker one where we have like the orange streaks and everything kind of over it. Really highlights and shows that. I think is so fucking cool. Everybody looking at this in horror of just the scene that they're seeing and questioning what exactly we're piloting and actually working with. While we see all this and the streaks of blood and everything coming down on it is absolutely insane. Shinji wakes up. I thought you were going to actually scold him, is what Masato, or is what Asuka says, right? No, of course. You're just happy that he's alive, right? You're just happy that he returned. Why? What good is it going to be to fucking yell at him about any of this? And then, of course, we see Gendo sitting here. They're power washing this bitch with Ritsuko, saying, okay, I think Masato knows. I think she's kind of catching on to him. He's like, it's whatever. But they also say if Rei or Shinji were to find out the Eva secrets, they would never forgive us, would they? Right? Why not Asuka? What does Asuka already know? Is she well aware of these things? Or they just kind of have different beliefs in her? So an idea that basically comes to my mind as we end up seeing this is, or maybe I shouldn't even start with that. Maybe I should just say, this is where I believe everything's at right now. This is where my mind is going. And I'd be glad to be wrong, and be surprised by that. But this is what I'm feeling right now. Asuka calls out mother at a certain point, right? While she's trying to sleep. We omit her specifically from this. Those others would never actually be able to forgive us. What's the possibility that her mom is also the same as what I'm assuming to be with Shinji's mom, and all of that stuff about her kind of being placed within here within the Avas, right? And her own unit that she is piloting. And I'll just say like soul for right now, because I think that for whatever reason I can latch onto is like a stronger thing than just saying like we're implementing like a personality or just like parts of a person or something within it. So I'll just say that for now. But like, what if we're taking the soul, say, of her mother, whether it was because she was sick or something was happening, or she offered herself up, or we used her, or like, we don't know the specifics behind it, but on the chance that actually happened and protected it, so that Asuka has a chance to kind of live out the rest of her life and be, in this safe environment. But as a result, she ends up having to pilot all these things. So she ended up being a chosen one and all that of the situation that we're in now. But I think that could make plenty of sense that's why, and maybe she's well aware of that. She's well aware of things. I mean, how much do you know about my past, right? She asked Masato before, and it's like she's well aware of her own past as well. So she's kind of aware of the situation and the things that they find themselves in without, we've never really seen her question anything either. So it's an interesting idea, but then you also see why not, Rei or Shinji? Why can't we bring either of them up? Well, if Shinji found out that he was piloting a thing that, we basically sacrificed his mother for and put her inside of here, it'd be a fucking big problem. Right? You think he would just be okay with that and be accepting of the things that happened? Probably not, right? Of what his dad's actually putting themselves through, this person that he's just waiting for all this praise and everything from. He probably doesn't want that anymore. Like, we have to, be a bit cautious with the way that we approach these things and letting these people kind of be informed on what's happening and how we actually constructed of these things. And then Rei, on the other hand, too, if we're going to go off the idea that she is actually, or her, it's difficult once again to explain. So her body, I'd assume that version of her is actually the mother of Shinji, would be my assumption. And then the soul and everything kind of got separated from it and completely wiped out. Hence this new version and stuff that we have of her. Of course, you don't want her to find out her past and everything that you kind of stripped and erased from her. Like, why would you want that? So it's a difficult spot for them to kind of put us in. We see her constantly getting pumped in with things over and over, and it seems like she's well aware of certain things and she just obeys orders and does all these things. It's almost like she's been kind of brainwashed and programmed. Is this the thing? We've eliminated, that own version of her kind of acting on her own, just to leave her as this empty shell almost that gets completely like toyed with and ordered around by Gendo for what exactly he wants. But she's still enough of a person that is able to kind of process these things that if you reveal any of this information, she wouldn't be too happy, you'd assume. Finding out as well that she never had anything, or she doesn't have anything that she needs to care for, and now she ends up finding something that she does, it's like, or that she should have, and she should actually still have to this day, and you took it all from her. It's a big problem. I don't know. I like him waking up and her actually being with us here, and I also really like his or her the tint that they give her for her hair in this. Asuka listening in, because of course she cares about him. Smell of blood won't come off. And then we get like these weird like thoughts and everything that he's kind of seeing. I'm assuming, right, these things kind of going in his mind. I don't know what it is, and him thinking about it before we get into the actual song of the ED. Fucking crazy, awesome episode. Hopefully, I was able to piece things together and make them sound coherent within what we're actually discussing. But if not, then I'm sorry. I'm very excited to find out much more as things slowly get peeled back and we slowly get revealed a bunch of information that we've been building towards. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you liked it, all the like and subscribe to mean a lot to me. Feel free to check out the videos and channel, the comments for this episode here. I'll be back for episode 17 very soon. I hope you guys have a great one. Peace.